my review of the Taylor Swift The Eras Tour Madrid Night 2. So this is just a spoken review. I have taken some background clips. These are the surprise songs, but yeah, I'm not going to play them because as you can see the quality is trash. So yeah, don't expect something where I show a lot of things. It's more of a spoken thing of my thoughts on it. But I thought that my perspective was interesting to share because I think I have this dual perspective of, on the one hand, me being a Swiftie since 2015 or so, since 1989, and being really into the fandom for like 5 years until 2020 during COVID. And well, yeah, until then I was a very big fan. I listened to basically a Taylor Swift album every day, more or less. I was into the fandom, followed a lot of communities, those kind of things. And this is like they are eras. That one, Lover, Reputation, and the ones before that I have really taken in. So I am a big fan of Taylor because of that. But also I have the experience of after COVID, for personal reasons basically, not really because of her in any way, more because I just didn't listen to music as much, so I was less into the music, I was less into fandom, I was less into the fandom and all that, right? So I have both perspectives of someone who is really into it and someone who I guess has positive feelings towards it, but is not really someone that knows all the songs and all. So I thought I could contrast both experiences in an interesting way. And basically, I think that this video is kind of an answer to the question that some newspapers trying to write articles about it, like explaining this Swiftie phenomenon, or like why do so many people are into this, right? And basically, I recognize that these are obvious facts, right? That the experience per se is bad, right? It's very loud. You can't actually hear the music, right? I have a note here. This was during Paramore. I wrote it during Paramore. Paramore audio, I thought was pretty bad, but then they either fixed it or I got used to it. So the first impression is that the audio is literally bad, right? You can't hear the person singing, and you hear mostly other people. And it is hot as fuck. It was 30 degrees that day. You are surrounded tightly, not super tightly, it's not that uncomfortable, but yeah, you are surrounded by people who, it's not that they don't respect your personal space, but yeah, they are closer than like when you are sitting like that on a sofa, for example, or when you are at your friend's house. You get the vibe. So objectively, it's kind of not that good of a time, you could say, but somehow it's a transcendental experience and everyone raves about it. And yeah, the newspapers have to write articles about it and some people have to explain it for some reason, right? And this is my part of the explanation. And on the very fan side, explaining it as someone who has felt these songs, it's unreal to listen to the person who made the songs that you want. It's like directing this show. It's not really about listening to the songs anymore, more about kind of singing it with her, being part of this huge experience of people kind of singing to songs that you have learned to heart, basically because they are that close to you, because they have resonated that much with you. Resonated in some way, not necessarily relatable, although some songs are relatable, but yeah, in that sense, the feelings communicated through those songs just being shared and reciprocated with the audience, and you being part of that audience and sharing and giving it all and having a great time singing along and seeing this kind of huge show put on. These parts that are shown in the background are just her sitting on the piano, but the show is very big. It has a lot of lights, it has huge props. It's an impressive show. Plus, it lasts 3 hours, right? So in that sense, it's magical in that sense. And then the other part, right? For example, the Red Era. I love the Red Era, you can see, but also the Fearless, the Speak Now era, even though she only has Enchanted. Those songs are songs that you know to heart, and well, that I know to heart, and that hit a part of me, hit a part of my feelings that makes me emotional, and that I like because of that. But then the next part, for example, the TTPD or Midnight Era, and maybe even the Folklore Evermore eras, those are eras that I know a little bit less. I know the lyrics a little less, and even though I like the songs, they are not songs that I know to heart. But it's still enjoyable to watch someone perform at that level, right? And that at those moments when I was kind of disconnected of my own I don't know, feeling like oh my god, she played whatever song, right? Because I didn't know the set list beforehand, right? So to me it was kind of surprising, most of the songs, not all, but because she plays basically these big singles. But yeah, it's like, oh, it's this song, right? I don't know. When you hear the change, you notice that oh my god, it's Love Story, right? And you sing it. So when you are kind of in that mood, the time flows differently. But when you are kind of more taking a backseat and more observing the dynamics between her and the audience, which was what I was doing during the TTPD Midnight era, I was more like taking a backseat and just seeing the show, looking around and all that. I saw that how she is, what her stage presence is, right? She has a lot of stage presence. She eats the stage because people want her to eat the stage. They are there to watch her, and it's crazy to watch that, and it's crazy to see this album that was released very recently, and people singing the song super loudly, and yeah, seeing basically it's basically a dialogue, right? She's talking, she's singing her thing, and then the audience kind of reciprocates with kind of this huge wave of talking I don't know, maybe repeating a chorus or an ad-lib or singing the lyrics back kind of at the same time, but yeah, I perceive it as like delayed. It's really interesting. And I thought it was fascinating to see that live, and it was, I don't know, transcendental, you could say, right? It's seeing someone perform at the top of their game is just awesome, right? Awe-inspiring, literally awesome, right? It's crazy. Then another thing that I thought was remarkable, right, was kind of how she always plays to the audience there, right? So it's remarkable to go to your show, to the show in your city, because she talks about your things, right? She connects it to you, and she makes the effort to make it yours a little bit, to give you kind of those little moments that are yours. So in her case are their surprise songs, which were playing in the background, where in case you want to know, our song mixed with Jump Then Fall, and then King of My Heart, kind of acoustic, piano version. And yeah, those are new for kind of each show. So those ones were the ones we got, and that was nice. And then she gives like these kind of touches of Spanish that I have compiled here. Well, that Radio Televisión Española has compiled. And she basically says things like hola, right? And everyone goes crazy. Bienvenidos a la Eras Tour. When I was in the McDonald's after the show, she was... there were some people saying, why didn't no one tell her that it's Al Eras Tour instead of La Eras Tour? Makes her sound weird or whatever. But I thought it was straight. I noticed, obviously, but it was... I think it is still endearing. For example, this is pronounced very well. It's like you can tell that she puts even though there are slips, you can tell that she puts effort in it. This is really interesting because she has this song, where she says we are never going back to ever getting back together, and in the original song she says like ever or something like that, right? And in these new ones, in each country she does it in the country's way, and here she does this, right? This was night 1. Ni borracha. This was night 2. Sorry if you can't hear it well, but yeah, I will link this in the description if you want to. Ayuda por favor. And then there is this part in the middle of the... Well, muchas gracias, obviously, thank you very much. Yeah, this is in the middle of the night. This is the repetition song. The original lyrics are in the middle of the night in my dreams, but I don't know, she kind of made this song ours in this way, right? This song is now ours. Now it's from the Madrid people. It's like in the middle of the night in Madrid forever for us again, from now on. This is I don't know, it's kind of magical in that sense, and I love that she made it ours in that sense. This is kind of the magic of touring, you could say. These little things. There are little moments, but little moments combined with all the big energy before, and combined with all that comes, makes for a magical experience. Yeah. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about how my experience of the show. I don't know, more the mundane stuff of like how did I get there, where was I located, those kind of things, right? So yeah. First, I went at 11 a.m. to Metro Cuzco, which is a little bit north of the Santiago Bernabeu, and like a whole metro stop away. So yeah, the queue was very long. I got there at 11 a.m. Real unemployed behavior, but yeah, it was interesting. It was packed. It was a cool experience. It was good / neutral. I will talk about the neutral later, but yeah, it was good in the sense that yeah, it was hot even at that early in the morning, and it only got progressively hotter. But we were always under the shade. We had luck in that sense, so we never were under direct sun except for I don't know minutes at a time maybe, and in that sense it was very well organized. Like there were people here kind of more or less informed of what each queue was, and taking care that the people were not cutting the line, because some people tried to cut the line but they got kicked out. Like I don't know, it was interesting. And yeah, I think in the end it was not necessary, because the people that were to my left on the actual show, once we got into the stadium, they said that they came at 1 p.m, so like 2 hours later, but they were like right at the same time, like we're at the same place as was I, right? So yeah, I don't know, I think it doesn't make that big of a difference. Maybe if you are like at 6 a.m. you get to be front pit, but if not, maybe it doesn't make that big of a difference. Plus, my friends, for example, that came with me at the same time, they actually went back out just because she's 5 feet tall, 150 centimeters, so she couldn't really see where we were, and she had to go a little bit back. The vibe, I will talk more about my feelings on my personal feelings, but yeah, the vibe in general was good, right? You see all these people dressed up in this kind of Taylor Swift related outfits, which this is the kind of outfit that if you were to see it around on the street or something, or I don't know, in some event, you would kind of approach maybe the person and be like, hey, oh, you're wearing this, or nice, or like give a thumbs up or something like that. But in this is a place full of those people, right? So it's interesting. And for example, here you could see they wear a lot of girls wearing these kind of cowboy boots outfits, and I don't know, it's like a little bit of a fashion show, and it's interesting to see all this. You feel in a way kind of connected to something in a way, but also I will talk about how I didn't feel that connected later, but yeah. And then yeah, we went to the stadium. This is at 4:47 p.m. It's when the queue started moving pretty fast, and then at basically 5 something we were already in. This picture was taken at 5:04. So yeah, at 5 p.m. we were already in, and then at 5:04 we were like going to the bathroom and all that. And here this is front right pit. I was around kind of this height, and this is the diamond. She plays here in this diamond a lot, so this place was really packed, so I couldn't get. We were maybe around here, right, at the beginning, or maybe around here, something like that. So not super close to this side, nor this side, nor this side, nor this side, nor this side. We weren't actually close to the lines, but we had a good view of it, and we were closer to the stage than closer to like this camera place or something like that. I would say, I think that's how it looked, or at least closer to the barriers like that are here. So I think it was like a good spot. Not sure, it's hard to put a worth on it. Is it worth being there at 11 a.m. for it? I could be at 11 a.m. So I don't know, I didn't have any problems with that. But if you have a job or those kind of things, it's like, what do you do? Do you buy pit tickets if you have a job, thinking that maybe you will be around here? I don't know. These are considerations that I can't answer, to be honest. I'm happy with my experience, but I can't say, I don't know, I can't. Then Paramore played. They had a good show, in my opinion. Sorry, then Paramore played and they had a good show, in my opinion. But yeah, the audience wasn't fully there. But I was lucky in a sense that I had someone close to me that really put her energy and that she really knew Paramore songs. She was a fan, I think. And she, yeah, was basically not screaming. She was actually like singing along and all this. And she had a lot of good energy, in my opinion. So I think I lucked out in that sense. Also having a Paramore fan here, so I could not fully enjoy Paramore because I didn't know the kind of the songs, all of the songs, but I did know a couple. In It Fun, I know basically that was the basically no, Still Into You and In It Fun. I know those two songs, so I could sing along a little bit. And as I said, the audio was not that great, so maybe if the audio was good, I could have at least enjoyed the musical show. But yeah, that did not happen because the audio, in my opinion, was not fully there. I don't know, not for this. This is the explanation that I gave before. These shows are not really about that. So it's a less enjoyable show in that sense. But I still had good energy and still had fun, and yeah, I thought it was a good. I think I had fun watching even that part of the show. And by this part, I was already separated with my friends from my friends, right? So my friends had already moved away because in this pre-show was when they noticed, well, when she noticed that she didn't see, that she couldn't literally see Hailey on stage or this kind of thing, right? So she preferred, she wanted to go back, and I stayed there because I could see her. Yeah, then Applause, the song Lady Gaga Applause starts playing, and there's this countdown that stops, and yeah, she appears. Yeah, this countdown, when Lady Gaga's Applause starts playing, everyone is singing because they know what's going to happen. I heard this in the queue, and then the time count drops. And yeah, as you can see, this girl was going crazy. This was something interesting that I will talk about later. But yeah, as you can see, she's recording herself, reacting to it. I don't know. It's interesting. And yeah, then the show starts. It starts with Miss Americana. Songs from the album Lover, including Lover, which is a song that I love. This is one of the songs that makes me go crazy, right? Then Fearless, then I think Red or Speak Now, I forgot, then 1989, then Reputation, then I think TTPD or yeah, I don't know. I forgot the order, but yeah, it's very, the order is like out there. You can see the set list somewhere if you want to. And I have already talked about my experience of the show in that sense. So I think now it's time to talk about my feelings. Yeah, so my feelings on the show is that now that you have this kind of context on how my show went, right? Yeah, so now with all the context that you have of my pre-show and all this, I don't know. To repeat the numbers, right? I was from 11 a.m. to like 7 p.m. in these kind of social situations, you could say, right? So I was in the queue, waiting in line, or in the pit, kind of in this little area. First, we were with the people with whom we had been spending time in the queue, but then I kind of got separated, and yeah, the people who were there moved around, those kind of things, right? And then, so that's 6 hours. And then I was like from 7 p.m. more or less to like 11:30, 4 hours 30 of actual show. So I was objectively that day, to me, was more encountering social situations, being around with a friend and with his girlfriend and with people behind me in the queue and with people in front of me who didn't speak Spanish, all those kind of things, right? So, like most of my day, technically, was just handling these things more than actually watching the show, even though that was a more significant part of the day. Like most of the time that I've spent during that day was kind of ruminating over those kind of things. So yeah, I was wondering about why are my social skills like this, right? I don't know, why am I not more, I don't know, engaging with people, or why am I not more extroverted, or like, I don't know, not sure if able, because I guess everyone is able to do everything if in social senses you could say, right? I don't know, but like the barriers are not actual barriers. But yeah, you can see that, for example, my friend's girlfriend, she was very open. She was very talkative. She very extroverted and all that, and she could really she talked a lot with the girls behind in the queue, but I don't know, there came a point where I noticed that they didn't know my name and that I didn't know their names, but they knew each other's names, right? So it was strange for me to like witness that kind of energy and the contrast between my energy, like I can't even get my name across, even though it's really easy and you have to say. At one point I did ask, oh, hey, what are your name, by the way? But yeah, I don't know. It's like we were like 6 hours there, so maybe it was in hour 4 or something when I thought of asking. I don't know. Well, not thought, when I actually asked. But there were like 3 hours, or maybe like there were a lot of hours of me just being there wondering, right? So yeah, in that sense, it was an interesting experience also from that angle. So for example, I spent a big part of the time just sitting here, right? Sitting surrounded by people. And at one of these times where those two people who are sitting beside me, those people are they were uh, an Italian guy and a Latin American girl who lives in Spain, like one of these people who are almost naturalized Spanish. But I was overhearing their conversation, and you can see we are basically sitting together. But I don't know. It's like in that situation, for example, I thought of it obviously, but I didn't gather the energy or the courage or whatever to ask them, hey, what are your names? Or like, hey, are you? I don't know. They were talking in English. The guy sounded Italian. I'm not sure if he was Italian. And the girl, I think she also knew Spanish because I don't know. Yeah, because she said she was Latin American and all that. But I was overhearing the whole conversation. I knew their whole life, well, not their whole life story, but I knew their life story, and I was just sitting there silent. So I was in that moment. I wrote in my notes something like overhearing the conversation from the people in my left and wondering why my social skills are the way they are. I don't know. It's like there was a lot of time for me to think about these kind of things. Right? I was just sitting there, feeling alone, not surrounded by these people who are talking about these things or something like that, but not knowing like what to do or those kind of things. That was basically half of my day was that. Well, I was there with a friend, right? So I talked to him as well and all this, right? And I guess that part was better. But still, I don't know. It's like he was with his girlfriend and all that, so yeah, he was obviously. I don't know. It's clear, right? It's these situations are kind of strange for me always. And now to end the video, I want to give some thoughts and reflections. And first, I'm going to start, that are like more, I don't know, bit-sized thoughts. And the first batch of these are like tweets. So yeah, my first tweet that I made of the day was kind of this. Right now, sitting at the Taylor line at noon on a Thursday. These are the real unemployed benefits. Yeah, I don't know. This kind of was interesting. It's like, how are there so many people there? Are all of them students? My friend was a student, and he actually, well, not sure if I can say this, but he had a test. And he will give some kind of a medical excuse or something, right? I'm sure he will get it. And there are some people who are probably like skipping class or something. But it's interesting. They are expensive. The tickets are very expensive. How are people paying them? These are all questions that run through my head. And how are people paying them if they can be at 11 a.m.? Are their parents paying them? Why? For some reason, I don't know. I can give my own perspective on this. I could give my own experience on it. But yeah, I think of other people's experiences in that sense. And yeah, it's interesting. So I guess one benefit of being unemployed, because for example, if you watched my videos from last week, I was all like, I might have a job on the so I guess the good side of not having a job is that at least I could experience this whole day the way that was, right? If I had been hired, I'm not sure what I would have done. Would I have been able to even get into the stadium? What would have happened? Because my friends had my ticket, right? So I had to enter with them. I don't know. It would have been a mess, but luckily I was unemployed, so I could experience it, which was good. Then the next tweet that I wrote, this one was after the show, but it was kind of a recap of my pit experience because, as I said, my friends kind of at one point had to not disappear, but had to move away. So I was, I guess, alone. And I don't know, I noticed that these were kind of the people I was surrounded with. I was surrounded by a gay Norwood 6 couple. I don't want to, I don't know. This was kind of the thing I noticed, right? I don't mean it in a mean way, although it may look mean, plus I have a long hair, so maybe it's, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's mean to point it out, but it was not pointed out in this kind of mean way. It was, I don't know, just an observation, right? It was a gay couple, and they were like, both of them had like Norwood 6-step hair, right? So they were kind of balding. Then I had two screaming teens to my right, and it was interesting. They were like screaming the whole show and like proper screaming, right? Because as I said before, everyone is kind of singing along and all that, but some people scream, like properly scream, and they were screaming all the time. So I don't know, it's something that you find kind of annoying at some points, but it's also endearing in a way. And they were like, yeah, this kind of very well dressed teens, you could say. Well, very well dressed, very well costumed for the show. Then the Italian guy talking to the Latin American girl that I mentioned before, right? I don't know. Like, as I said, it made me feel bad, in the sense that I could not communicate. Well, not could not, but like that I wouldn't communicate with them. But I still found the experience nice because she was a big fan of Paramore. I don't know, I didn't ask, but you could tell by the way she was singing literally all of the Paramore songs, and she was singing it to heart. Right? She was not screaming like the screaming teens, but she was singing them to heart, and I appreciated that experience of having a Paramore fan there close to me in the Paramore show because it made the experience better, in my opinion. And yeah, the Italian guy, he had Taylor as his phone background, sorry, and yeah, it was interesting. They were talking about their experience, blah blah blah. And then I had an Asian girl. I pointed this out. I don't know, to give to give diversity, but I think she was properly, like, not properly Asian, but like she was from Paraguay, or I don't know, maybe not, but she had like her whole phone was in Chinese that I could see, and she was speaking kind of Chinese with her friends, if I recall correctly. I don't know. It was interesting. Like, it was an interesting experience for me. And yeah, I ended the tweet with wouldn't want to look at anything else now that I saw them. The from the Daylight song. And yeah, this is basically what I mentioned before in the part where I was talking about TTPD, right? So it was an epic night. And yeah, something about seeing someone at the peak of their game being cheered on by 60,000 people is just invaluable, even if the actual sensorial experience is being hot as fuck and hearing screams. And then my next tweet was kind of related to this social experience that I mentioned. Yeah. This tweet of mine, the Eras Tour was great, but it being 90% women was very scary. I don't know. Half joke, half not tweet, right? I don't think I'm necessarily worse socially because there were a lot of women, but I don't know, I thought it was funny as a concept, and it probably is true to some sense, right? I am less used to women plus the thing that I mentioned here, right? For example, someone was like saying, okay, what's a group with a gender ratio that's not basically 90% men? And it's like Swift, the Swift fandom, that's like 80% women, literally. And yeah, maybe not that exaggerated, but something like that. And I was like, yeah, it's probably easy to hang out if you just dress up a little fruity. I was dressed up a little fruity, and I got complimented on my outfit, actually. If you carry friendship bracelets, right, I got these given. I didn't carry them myself, right? All of this I got given, except the tattoos. Tattoos I gave a couple myself, but yeah. And if you are like friendly to the people in the front and behind the queue and around you, and that's the part where I struggled the most. I'm not unfriendly, but I am not like proactively very friendly to people. I'm not the one handing out, hey, do you want a free one of these, right? Those kind of things are harder for me. And it's not that I couldn't do it or whatever, it's just that it doesn't come naturally to me, and I have a harder time. I'm more coy in real life, you could say. And the next thing is that I've perceived a bit of resentment towards men. This was a bit of a joke part, because as you can see, I have the plus you block their view, so it's like they are not like really resentful of you blocking their view, but they actually are resentful of you because like men are taller, so you actually block their view more. So in that sense, you are literally being annoying to them by virtue of literally just being there, right? It is kind of like that. And then, like the song "The Man" is not like hating men or whatever, but yeah, it's very the vibe carries on that sentiment, you could say, of of like, we are tired of this thing. I don't know. And you sense it in the vibe, right? Talking in the queue, I remember like two of the girls that we were with, they were talking about some things like that, right? And it was interesting to hear. It's like, it doesn't particularly bother me, but it does make me feel not unwelcome or anything, but I don't know, yeah. Maybe, yeah, that it certainly doesn't help me wanting to be more approachable, right? Or being more approaching, sorry, because you feel like you will get not. It's like they are not even like dating or sexual or anything like that. They are not advances like that. But even those, it still feels like they will get kind of, I don't know, less well received than if they came from a woman. Right? If a woman is kind of hanging out bracelets, it's like it feels like it's a more, I don't know. You get the vibe. You get what I mean by this, right? Then the next thing I wanted to mention was this kind of girls recording themselves phenomenon. Right? This was something that I had read, I think, somewhere on Twitter or something, or maybe saw some TikTok in passing, but I don't know, seeing it in person is strange, right? You are seeing this person in front of you kind of recording themselves, and yeah, she is literally kind of the focus of her friend to the right. She is recording the video of the thing, and the girl to the left is recording kind of both of them reacting to the, I guess, Taylor coming onto stage. And I don't know, that was kind of strange to watch. I'm literally doing retarded shit as well, right? I'm recording a fucking video, live streaming it. I'm reacting to this footage that I have recorded. I'm also doing retarded shit, right? So I'm not in any place to criticize. But it was interesting, like experiencing live. It was like seeing someone in, I don't know, in the real world. I don't know, seeing everyone record everything. I was recording as well, but seeing everyone record everything is strange because it kind of makes you want to record as well. Because it's like you are not seeing it live as well. You are seeing a lot of screens in the middle blocking your view. So you're like, fuck it, might as well fucking put my phone up and record over them, right? In this case, I was willingly using kind of the wide angle lens, so to capture more. And because I like to comment on things later, and this is what I was actually seeing, right? But if you record up and you put like a telephoto or something, you can actually record Taylor pretty well, right? You can see here that from this place, like she is recording Taylor pretty well. So yeah, in that sense, the seeing people recording themselves as a phenomenon is strange. It's like, I'm not sure. Like, when you post something like that, when you post yourself going crazy over something on TikTok, for example, what are the comments? I haven't seen them. I think I haven't dived into them, but are the comments just other Swifties being like, oh my god, you are so lucky, or I reacted the same way or something? Or if they go viral, are people like, oh, Swifties are retarded or something like that, or like, Swifties are all super emotional or something? I don't know. Like, what is happening in the world around it? Because if they are recording it, it's to post, I assume, right? I don't know. What's going on? What's with that whole thing of recording themselves? Then the next part that I have, the next thought or reflection that I have here is gay honeymoon king of my heart. I don't know. The Norwood gays that I mentioned before, they were sending each other texts or something, or texting someone else, right? And they were like, oh my god, someone texted them, oh my god, you got king of my heart on your gay honeymoon. And this made me think of like this kind of gay 35-year-old who is enjoying the show is kind of, aside from the screaming teenage girl who is kind of financed by their parents, they are probably the people who enjoy it the most. I don't know. It's kind of something about this kind of being gay in this audience that is very, you could say, not. I was going to use the word pander, but I don't want to say it like that. But yeah, that is, I guess, welcoming with this vibe that is welcoming to you, and you being affluent because these were Americans, right? So they were probably pretty rich. I don't know. It was like, this is probably like the top enjoyer of something like this, and it was like, I was like interesting to. It was interesting to see, and I tied it into wanting to hang out after the show. This was a feeling that I had, right? A reflection that I had was like, I wish I lived in Madrid proper, so I could enjoy hanging out after instead of just dipping to my house and to McDonald's to eat McDonald's after the show, because I had to kind of run away from my friends basically after being like bye bye. I kind of ran away after re-encountering each other because we were separated, as I said. I was like, it would be good to like my friends live in Madrid as well, but they are also like living with their parents in Madrid, right? So it's different to be like. Their spot was pretty good because they arrived home at like 1 a.m. earlier than 1 a.m. And at 1 a.m. I was basically still waiting for the bus to come after eating McDonald's. But I was eating McDonald's at the time because there were no buses in the middle, right? So in that position they were in a better position than I was, but still not in like the top position, which would be something like the gay 35-year-olds, Norwood 6, who are, I don't know, in this kind of gay honeymoon, right? They are in a gay honeymoon in Madrid, enjoying a show. I don't know. It seems like a good position to be in. I don't know. That was kind of a thought that I had while watching these guys' texts. And I was like, I wish I had money. I wish I could, I don't know, buy these tickets on an international Taylor Swift show. And I don't know. It was an interesting thought. And then the last thought that I have is ranch wallpaper. This is just stupid as fuck, but I saw some guy with a wallpaper of a bottle of ranch dressing, like ranch dressing. I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. Thought it was funny. And those are my thoughts on this Taylor Swift show. Maybe this is overextending my welcome if you got here, but I think if you got to this part, maybe you would enjoy me reflecting for an hour over my experience in a polling station, this video right here. They are some reflections of this same kind, of instead of a Taylor Swift Eras Tour show, of being a polling station member. Maybe you'll enjoy it.